He just crushed a former governor in one of the biggest political upsets in New York history. Now he wants to freeze rent for millions of people, and billionaires are panicking. Zoran Mamdani, a 33-year-old assemblyman from Queens, just beat Andrew Cuomo, a former New York governor, in the Democratic primary for mayor. Cuomo had money, experience, and for decades of political power behind him. Mamdani had none of that. But he had something even stronger, a movement, an army of renters, immigrants, and working-class voters who showed up when it mattered most. Mamdani didn't just win, he dominated. His campaign knocked on over 1 million doors, canvassed in more than a dozen languages, and turned out first-time voters in neighborhoods most politicians ignore. His victory shocked the city's establishment. But to the people who live paycheck to paycheck, this win felt personal. Mamdani's biggest promise is bold: freeze rent for the next 4 years. That means no rent increases for more than 1 million people living in rent-stabilized apartments. He calls it breathing room, a break from the rent hikes that have pushed working people out of their neighborhoods. He's also fighting to build 200,000 new, publicly owned homes, expand eviction protections, and pass a law that says landlords can only evict tenants for a valid reason, known as good cause eviction, to pay for it. Mamdani wants new taxes on the rich, a surcharge on luxury property deals, higher income taxes on the top 2%, closing loopholes used by developers and billionaires. Critics say it'll drive businesses out. Mamdani says the real danger is a city where only the wealthy can afford to live. He's not backed by Wall Street or massive unions. His biggest supporters? Renters. Organized through what his campaign calls the tenant block. More than 20,000 people who pledge to vote, volunteer, and donate to Housing First candidates. It's also backed by progressive leaders like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Bernie Sanders, and the Working Families Party. But unlike most politicians, Mamdani doesn't try to please the rich. He says he works for the people who keep the city alive, not the ones who own it. Here's how he put it in a national interview.
The difference between myself and Andrew Cuomo is that my campaign is not funded by the very billionaires who put Donald Trump in D.C. I don't have to pick up the phone from Bill Ackman or Ken Langone. I have to pick up the phone for the more than 20,000 New Yorkers who contributed an average donation of about $80 to break fundraising records and put our campaign in second place.
That line made headlines and sent a clear message. His loyalty isn't for sale. He's not here to serve millionaires. He's here to fight for average New Yorkers. Of course, the backlash came fast. Real estate PACs called the rent freeze economic expropriation. Conservative commentators called him dangerous. A Republican congressman even suggested revoking his citizenship, something Mamdani's supporters called absurd and racist. Then came controversy over his stance on Israel and Palestine.
Quick question. Have you subscribed to English Footing yet? If not, now's the perfect time.
Mamdani is one of the most vocal pro-Palestinian politicians in America. He's called Israel an apartheid state, backed a full ceasefire in Gaza, and supported efforts to cut U.S. military aid. When protesters chanted "Globalize the Intifada," he refused to denounce it. He said it's a call for global resistance against oppression, not a call to violence. That position won him praise from activists and attacks from pro-Israel groups who accused him of anti-Semitism. He denied that strongly, saying criticism of a government is not hate speech, it's democracy. So who is Zoran Mamdani really? He was born in Uganda, raised in New York, and comes from a family of artists and academics. His father is world-renowned scholar Mahoud Mamdani. His mother is Mira Nair, the Oscar-nominated filmmaker behind The Namesake and Queen of Cat. Before politics, he worked as a foreclosure prevention counselor, helping families keep their homes during the housing crisis. And yes, for a while, he also made music. He once rapped under the name Mr. Cardamom, and even had a track featured in a Disney film. Today, his art is political. He recently married Syrian-American illustrator Rama Douaji, who designs much of his campaign merch. Now, Mamdani is just months away from possibly becoming the next mayor of New York. If he wins, he'll be the city's first Muslim mayor, the first South Asian mayor, and the youngest in more than a century. But titles don't seem to interest him. What does? Changing who holds power and who gets to stay in the city. New York will become a luxury brand, not a home, says if we don't act now. His opponents say he's going too far. Says we haven't gone nearly far enough. Simple English. What do you think? Is rent control a lifeline or a disaster waiting to happen? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories told in clear.